Hello out there, fellow YouTubers. So today what we got here is we're going to be working on the ScaledPicture program. In this folder there's a whole bunch of files, a lot of notes. We're not going to be looking at that right now because we're going to be coding this. So what we want to do is we want to go to View Previous Homework. I realize this is 2016. Yours probably is different. You probably have it right on the one of the folders right there. We want to click on ScaledPicture right here. And we have a whole bunch of stuff here. What we want to look at is we want this code right here. So we're going to copy this into our class file. So we're going to close out this project. We're going to open a new project. So we're going to go project, new project. I'm going to call this ScaledPicture 2 and create it. And now I have a brand new project. I'm going to open up a new class. So I can either click new class here or right click and click new class. And I'm going to type in whatever I want right there. Make sure it's a class, which it already is. And the reason why I'm going to type whatever I want in there is because when I open this up, I'm going to be deleting everything that it automatically generates and replacing it with the code that I found online. And now see this example applet right here? This is the name of the Java file. It's going to replace that as this. So when I hit compile, see how it turned to example applet? That's great. That's good. That means we want to make this our file name. So our file name is going to be our last name, first letter of our first name, underscore, scaled picture. So now when I compile this, my name's going to be up there, which is going to be really nice because then I can automatically find my file. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at this code. These import statements make it so we import some basic functions. We import the applet things that make it look like an applet. Remember, an applet is just basically things that have a drop-down menu and this stuff up here. And then to make the applet work, we say this Java class extends the applet class. We have initialize where we initialize variables. We're not going to use that just yet. We have the paint, which calls a function scale sponge, which is down here. Basically, all this code is technically right here. But it's written in this function so we could draw multiple images of the same image using these functions, this XY width length, on the graphics G. So we send in the graphics G, so it's the same graphics G, and we send in that XY width length. This sets it up so we have a background color of black being XY width length. So we make sure our image is inside that. We don't care about that just yet. That's going to be later on. What we want to do is we want to set the color, and for Halloween schemes I'm going to say this is orange, and then everything I do after this is going to be orange. First thing we want to do is we want to draw a image. Well, this one's good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this. This is my Fallout 4, and I'm going to put it into Paint. I'm going to make a new paint. And this is my image. So now what I want to do is I want to pixelize this. What this means is turn it into, we want lines, ovals, and rectangles. Please realize that a rectangle can also be a square. It's just a special kind of rectangle. A circle can be an oval, just a special kind of oval. So what we want to do is we want to draw ovals, and I'm going to do the color red so it stands out. Now, realize that to make this oval right here, I need to go to the leftmost point of the circle and the topmost point of the circle and make it right there. So my oval, that's going to be his head. Now I need to make his eyes, and I'm going to make a winky eye just like that. I need to make his mouth. And his nose, I'm going to actually make a line and another line. Next thing I want to do is I want to make his hair. Well, I'm not going to do his hair. Make him bald. I want to make the thumbs up. So I have a oval right there, and then his hand is going to be another oval. I'm going to make a rectangle for his arm, a rectangle for his body, and then I'm also going to make this little bandit thing right here. So an oval, another rectangle. I'm going to move that rectangle over a little bit. Now see how I'm modifying the picture a little bit? That's just to make it look a little bit better compared to what it's actually drawing. And now I do the other oval. And now let's count how many objects I have. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So this is actually 1 over what's required of 12. So he doesn't have a right arm. I have 2 lines, and I can make another arm. I might as well. We're just going to do another arm and circle. Pretty basic. However, what we have to know is we have to know which one we want on top, which we're going to get into later, and where all the starting points are. So the next thing what we want to do is we want to basically overlay a graph on this. And the best way to do this is to find a special image. So we found this image. There we go. So I found, what is this? This image right here. I'm going to copy it. It's free printable centimeter grid paper. When I paste this over, see how it's just a grid? What I want to do is I want to make sure I can line up as many things as possible. So this left part right here, I want to line up, and this top part, I want to line up. But I want to line it up to the red stuff, not to the yellow. And that's as good as it's going to get. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to focus. I'm going to make a line right here, just so that I know. I want to focus inside this box right here. Now see how even though that's, I'm going to cut that off just so that it fits inside there. So I'm going to select this area. And when I select it, I'm going to have it stick out just a little bit on all the edges so I can see where the lines are, but not too much. And I'm going to copy this and paste it. Now what I want to do is I need to set up the number coordinate system. Now see how it's a nice graph and everything. It's very tight around the image. We're all set there. So what we want to do is I'm going to use the orange text. I'm going to label the x-axis and the y-axis. Now this is a little bit different from math. What we have is they're both positive. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now on my y-axis I have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now I'm going to circle these last ones because they're important to me, and I'll get into that later. Luckily we got it so that they're both 12, 12. I am going to change this real quick just for educational purposes to make this 13. So that they are different. I didn't want that to happen, but whatever. So this is 13, so we're not going to have that circle. And I will show you why later. I'm going to change the numbers later on for my own personal use to make it 12 by 12 just so that it fits. But I can extend these legs down a little bit so it'll work out, and then the hand will be obvious. So I'm going to keep it as 13, never mind. So this red right here, I'm going to erase. And I'm going to make it so that the red box goes all the way down to the bottom. So now he's got some decent body to him, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. So now we have the image done. What we need to do now is I want to, and I'm going to label it with purple just because it stands out on this picture. Yeah. I'm going to increase, I'm going to go to my pen, I'm going to increase the thickness of the line. And now what I want to do is I want to label each and every single one of these circles and squares just to help me as a coder. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and realize this is a whole different line. 5, 6, 7, 8. And notice how I'm always labeling usually on the top left. So I know which one this goes with, not this one, not this one, but this circle. 8, 9, 10. Realize that's just for this right here. This 8 goes all the way down here. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Wow, I overdid it on this. It's okay though, because it's going to be a little bit more work, not that much, but the image quality is going to be so much better, so it's worth it. And it's Fallout 4. Come on, guys. So now I have my pseudocode done. First thing I want to do is save it. So we have Fallout 4 FTW, and I'm going to save it as a JPEG because JPEGs are amazing. And let's save it right there. Next thing I want to do is I want to make it so that this fits on the left side of my screen so I can always see it. There we go. Because I'm going to be coding over here while looking at my pseudocode. So I want to open up my BlueJ and put my code on the left and expand it as much as possible while still seeing the pseudocode. Now, what I need to do is I'm actually going to change this to blue because it's Fallout 4. I want to do G dot. I'm going to do fill. I'm going to do a draw oval, and I'll show you why. I'm going to do fill oval. And I'm going to do comma, 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 close. So we have X, Y, width, length. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete blue actually and copy this a whole bunch of times. And we're going to copy this 14 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, even though they're all ovals and some of them are lines, we're going to change that when the time comes. That's not going to be that much. I mostly have rectangles, but whatever. So my first one is a oval. Now, realize when I'm going to be marking this up, I want to be marking it up in a different color. Let's say orange. No. What's a good color? Baby blue. There we go. I'm going to be marking it up and then undoing it with the Control-Z button so I don't mess up the whole image. See how I can mess it up completely? I press Control-Z once and I undid it. That's why I saved it before, so I can't undo back beyond this point. You might have to close and reopen Paint to do that, but I know how many times I'm going to be doing it, so it's whatever. Now, this oval right here, I draw a square around this oval, and this is my bounds for this image. Realize I'm basically at the halfway point between 5 and 6, so that means my X value is 5.5. My Y value is 0 because it starts at 0. So my next coordinate is going to be 0. Realize what I'm also going to do is I'm going to take this same line and I'm going to say, oh, we already have it up here, XY width length. So this is great. I already have my XY width length. So I have my X, I have my Y, now I need my width. My width is going to be from this half mark, 1, and notice I'm going half mark to half mark, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. So that means my width is 5.5. It's just coincidence that these are the same numbers. That shouldn't normally happen. And now my length is going to be my Y value, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to round down, even though that's not all the way there. It's just so much easier to do whole numbers that I'm just going to round that up. Now, before we continue, one little thing that you might want to start doing already is that 5.5 has to be an integer value. We have a decimal value, which is not an integer, it's a float. So what we have to do is convert this 5.5 into 55 divided by 10. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking 55, I'm multiplying by 10, and then dividing by 10, which just makes it the same value. 55 divided by 10 is still 5.5. It's mathematically correct, but now it is a decimal. I mean an integer. So we don't have decimal, so it will compile and run. The next one we want to do is the number 2, which is this spot right here. So I'm going to go over here, undo all the way back. Ooh, it does go back, so I'm going to put a little star up there. Ooh, no, that erased the 15. So 15 right here. And then I'm going to put a star because that's my rewind point. This 2 right here is about that square right there, and I'd say 2/3 all the way around. So my X position is 6.3. My Y position is 2.3. Because look, X 6 over 0.3, Y is 2.3. And now my width is 0.6 and my length is 0.6. Now again, we need to convert these all into decimals, all into fractions. So it's going to be 63 divided by 10. Every time you have a decimal, just divide by 10. Decimal, divide by 10. Now if you have 2 decimal places, you divide by 100. So if this was 66.66, this was 0.66, you would convert this by dividing by 100, so it'd still be a whole number. If it was 3 digits, divide by 1,000. Same thing. Next one is we have this one, so now we need the winky eye. I'm going to change this to blue. The next one I'm going to do is pink. The next one I'm going to do is orange. And I'm doing different colors so that it stands out. Later on I'll get the right color scheme, but I want every color to be different right now so I can debug the picture. Once I figure out what colors I need, then I can get it to work. So the next one is fill oval, which is number 3. I'm actually going to comment these also. 1, 2, and I can also comment this as head, left eye, and there's going to be 3 right eye, wink. Notice this doesn't make sense in English, but it makes sense in programming because that's how we roll. So this 3 again, it's my 8 is my X, my Y is down 3, but it's actually down 2.5. But what I want to do is I want to make it so that, yeah, I want it to be a little bit further down because when you wink, it's sort of in the middle. So I'm going to go 2.5. Actually, let's do 2.4. It's not all the way down. The X is going to be 1, and the width is 1. The height is, I'd say, 0.3. Yeah. So now again, take rid of the decimal, divide by 10, get rid of the decimal, divide by 10. Next color is yellow. Now 4 is actually a line, so it's not fill line, it's draw line. And so what we're going to do is when drawing a line, we need to go from point A to point B. So that's what we care about. I don't want to move this too far up because then it'll look like a huge nose. So I might want to move that point a little bit down so it doesn't look like he has a huge schnauzer. I'm going to move this other point a little bit further down to be at the halfway mark. Again, actually no, I'm going to keep it right there. Let's go right there, right there. There we go. That's a little bit better. So this is going to be top nose, and I'm going to label it 4. So this is going to be XY, so a line is XY, XY. So my first point is this one right here. It's going to be 7.5, 2.5. So I'm going to do 75 divided by 10, and then 25 divided by 10. The next one is right on 7.3. 7.3. That's also why I moved it, so it's just easier numbers there. The bottom part of the nose, I'm still going to make yellow. So I'm just going to comment this out. I don't need it because it's the same color. Because it's the same part of the nose. Now what I want to do is I want to take that 7.3 from the previous point because I want it to start at the same spot. And I'm going to go down to this point right here, which looks like it's basically in the half-half mark. So this is going to be 7.5, 75 divided by 10, and 35 divided by 10. Now you should be compiling and running this to make sure it works. I'm not, because I know it works, but you should be, just to beta test your program. The next color is magenta, which is basically like a purple. Magenta. And the next one we're going to do is we're going to label this 5 wink, so bottom nose. So 6 is going to be 6 mouth. It's also an oval. So I'm going to round that down a little bit to push the mouth down. So it's going to be 65 divided by 10, 4, and this is going to be 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3. And then we're going to make it 0.5, which is 5 over 10. And where's 7? 7's going to be the neck. So I'm going to do color dot brown. And this is going to be, now realize again, what do we do when we do a circle? We put a square around that circle, and we draw the circle as if it were that square. I'm going to bump this up a little bit to right here, just that my numbers are good, and I'm not going to see that anyways. So our X is going to be 6.5. Our Y is going to be 4. Our width is going to be 1, 2, 3.5. So 35 divided by 10. And our length is going to be 1, 2, 3. This is going to be neck piece. And I'm going to label it 7. Now 8 is the body, so I'm going to do color.blue. I'm going to go 8 body. Now realize the tricky thing about this one is this 8 actually goes all the way down because we got to draw the legs, and it's going to be the same color anyway, so might as well. So my X position is 5.5, so 55 divided by 10. My Y position is, I don't want to go up. I actually want to go down a little bit. So I'm going to say 5.5, so 55 over 10. Oh, sorry. Wow. Yeah, no, 55 over 10. That's right. And my X, my width, is going to be, again, we're at the half mark, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And my length is going to be, we're at the half mark, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. So 75 divided by 10. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment this out with a /* all the way down to here, so //, and this will allow me to see if my program works. Apparently brown isn't a color, so let's just make it red. Oh, and there's a decimal. It gives me an error message, so I got to divide by 10. There we go. So I'm going to go back to BlueJ, my project folder. I'm going to right click and do Run Applet. Hit OK. And we're going to take a look at this Fallout Boy. Oh, that is a glorious Fallout Boy. See that little image up there? That's our Fallout Boy. Now, we haven't based it off of XY with lengths. That's why it's so small. But I can sort of see that Fallout guy working out. So we can't test it this way yet. We're just going to gotta have faith. But at least we know it's somewhere there. I could zoom in if I really want to, but I'm not going to. Not today. So now we're on 8. I'm going to label this 9. And we're going to go, this is another rectangle, so I'm going to call this the tie. even though it's not a tie, it's just easier. And again, I need to change these from ovals to fill rect. Fill rect, and 10 is also going to be a rectangle. 11 is also. 12 is not, but 13 is. And there we go. So 9 is the tie. We want to actually go up a little bit more, so we're going to go to the half mark right there and go all the way down to here. So this is going to be 7, 6.5. My width is going to be 1.5. So 15 divided by 10. And my length is going to be 1, 2, 3.5. I'm just going to write 4 because it's going to be hidden underneath here anyways. And I'm really lazy. So number 10 is still going to be the same color. So I'm going to comment this out. It is going to be red. Again, same color as the neck piece. Down here, number 10, which I'm going to call the belt, is going to be 5.5. 55 divided by 10. The Y value is going to be 10. The width is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the Y value is going to be 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we got that done. Now we need 11, which is this rectangle over here. We're going to go back to the blue color, and we're going to go 10.5. The Y value, which I want the same Y value that I did before, so I'm going to go back up to number 8, and so I'm just going to copy that, because then this is a straight line all the way across. If I wanted to knock it down a little bit, I could. Let's actually do that. Let's make this 6, because then he has a little arm down his shoulder. I don't know. Looks less blocky. So that's my Y value. Now I need my width, which is going to be 1.5. 15 divided by 10. And my length is going to be 1. So I'm already at the half mark. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on my hand, I'm going to do white. So it's going to be his skin color, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember what the tan didn't work before, so because we have a black background, so that'll sort of work. Otherwise, white on the white background will definitely not work. So my oval is going to be down there. It's going to be X value, same as the one before, so 105 over 10. My Y value is going to be my ending Y value here, so it's going to be 6 plus 5, which is 11. So let's check that out. This right here is going to be 11. Oh, because I dropped it down. That's right. That's why you always go back to your initial values that you used before to when you're drawing the image instead of just your pseudocode, because your pseudocode changes, your code does not usually. So now we need the width, which is going to be 1.5, so 15 over 10. And my length, since I started 11, I'm going to make it just 1. I want it to be a little small. Well, let's do 1 point, so 15 over 10. So now I have that done. Now I need to go make this arm, so 13. I'm going to comment this 12 hand. I'm going to call this right hand. So now I need to go back to the color blue. And I'm going to make this 13 left arm. This is 11 right arm. So my left arm is 5.5. Ooh, sorry. This is 2. 5.5, so 55 divided by 10. The width is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can go past this. It doesn't matter because it's going to be behind. And the length is just going to be 2. Now we're back to white. I'm going to comment this color out and put in this 14 hand, 15 thumb. So I'm going to make this go down further. and this not as far up so that it connects better. I could probably do this a little bit better, but it's alright. So 14, what I'm going to do is it's 0, 5, 3, 3, 2.5. Yeah, 2.5. So 25 divided by 10. And my thumb is going to be 1, 3, 1, 2. So now when we run this, we see we have no compile errors, which is always good. Make sure you have that. If I run applet, I can sort of see this. I can't zoom in. I guess I could zoom in if I do this. Let's see. Open up Paint, paste it, and then... Uh-oh. That sort of looks like him. I think I messed up because of right there, but that might be because of the rounding errors. When I make the image huge, it should work out. It's probably going to work out a lot better. So let's close this. I'm not going to be worried about that until we actually get into the scaled picture part. Now, to get into the scaled picture part, what we need to do is we need to make code. So we're going to change this into a g.filloval of x plus width times my blank, which is the thing I just put in, divided by my width, which is 12, this number right here. We're dividing by 12 because we scaled everything off of 12. Now our y value, which is going to be y plus length, times my blank, divided by 13. Remember when I had it used to be 12, now it's 13, this is y. So you know the difference. So we have 13, and now we go back because it's xy width length. We're just going to do width times blank divided by 12, and then length times blank divided by 13, and semicolon. Now what we need to do is every time we have a fill oval, I'm going to paste this in. So we no longer need this picture, so I'm just going to look at the code. I see a fill oval, I'm going to paste that in. Fill oval, paste it in. This is a line, so it's going to be something different. Oval, 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 rectangle. I'm going to do something different. Oval, oval, oval. So now the rectangle is going to be same exact code as a oval, but instead of oval, it's going to be a rectangle. And since I'm so lazy, I'm going to go back through and paste this in instead. So I'm just going to look for a rectangle. Here it is. There's the other one, and I think there's the last one. 3, nope, 4. There we go. So now I just need my lines, and my lines are the same thing as the rectangle and the oval. Instead, it's a draw. You could have draw rect and draw oval. That just doesn't fill it in. But we have x, y, x plus, and y plus. X, y, x, y. So now whenever I have a line, which it should stand out like a sore thumb now, I should have 2 lines. Where's the other line? This should be a line. Oops. So now I have draw line, and all my rest are all set. So now what I need to do is, every time I have these, I need to combine them into one. So I just highlight, cut, paste, highlight, Control X, Control V, highlight, Control X, Control V, copy pasta. And the reason why I cut is because I only want to move it once. I don't want to be lost where I'm at. I don't want issues later on. Now I should save this as a different file before I do this, but I think I'm okay. The reason why I should save it before is so that if you do mess up, you don't lose your pseudocode. If you copy it in the wrong place, you still know where it's from, all the rest of the things. It's always nice to have 2 copies. So I'm going to skip ahead again. All we're doing is just X, Y, and this again is X, Y because it's length. X, Y, X, Y because it's a line. And so we're, yeah. Please note when you're doing this, make sure you cut into the right spot. If you cut into the wrong spot, you might have a compile error, which hopefully you will. If you don't, you'll be completely confused. If you copy back the 4 into there, you won't know why you don't have a 4 there. If you skip ahead, there's so many things you can mess up on here. But the nice thing about this is, because it's computer programming, when you run the program, you can actually see the error visibly, and then you can correct it that way. However, sometimes that could take forever to find, because nothing will tell you where you messed up, because it was a logical error, where you put the wrong number in the wrong spot. Whereas a compile error means you put the 4 right there, that would be a compile error. This would be a logic error. Anyways. Oops. I need another rectangle. Okay, so now that we're done, what I need to go through is I want to go back and comment these out, because realize we still have, that's where my comments are at. So I don't want to get rid of those comments. Then 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. You can move that down to the next line. I recommend it. But I'm lazy, so there's no reason to delete one line just to move it down. And the comments always help. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to compile and hope for the best. Yes, no syntax errors. So I'm going to run the applet, and let's see. Look at that. We're actually pretty close to getting this done. There's one issue here. This red circle I want to put behind everything, but above this box right here. And I think also in front of this box. So ordering, see how that messes that up? We need to put this circle behind these, but above these. Now, when a computer compiles this code, it's going to say this neck piece I want behind the face. So I'm going to take these 3 lines of code, I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to move it up to the top, because I want this to be drawn first. So now when I compile and run it, let's see what happens. And I hope the left arm goes over this. That's what I'm hoping for. Yep, so now the body needs to be before that as well. So now we got to go look for the body, which, because I have my pseudocode, I don't have to look for anything. I just have to find the number. It's 8. So now I just look for the number 8 right here. So I'm going to cut these lines of code and put that before the neck piece. And compile and run it. Notice how every time I make a change, I'm going to be compiling and running it, compiling and running it. This is my debug phase of the program. And yep, see how that left arm is above it? I need the left arm behind. So the left arm, I forget, is number 13. And the reason why I do numbers and words is so that I don't mix up 13 with 12. Left arm is what I want. And left arm can go right there, because then I can comment out the color. And when I run this, now we have our little Fallout guy, which doesn't look that good. Looks like Mario, if anything, because of that red. So what we want to do is we want to change the colors of this. So I'm going to change his nose to black, this to that Fallout color, and the blue also to the same Fallout color. So we need to find the lines. Where is it? Draw line, draw line. The color, I want it to be black. And I want to find the face, which is blue. Where's the face? The head. I want that to be white. So we have white. I want the eyes to be... What color are the eyes? Black. Eyes are black. So left eye is black. Right eye is also black. And what color is the mouth? Mouth is... That's a decent color. So now we got to get those colors. Now, the fun thing about paint is if you use this little... I don't know what that's called. You can actually steal the color, which this is really cool. If I edit colors, these numbers right here are the numbers I want. So I'm going to go back to my code, and I want to go to School Fusion. And on the bottom here, we have this code right here for a custom color. So I want, wherever it's red, I want to set to be the custom color. So this is the first red. So this is going to be, I'm going to call it neck. Neck. And the numbers are RGB values are going to be 255, 239, and 214. Now whenever I want to set this color, all I have to do is call this line instead of the red. So I'm going to comment the red out. So wherever I see red, and I think that's it. So now when I compile and run it, we don't need this anymore. Where is, there it is. It's getting a little bit better. That white I need to change now. And now I want to change the blue, because that's not the standard blue. Actually, I don't know why that's all white. I want just that sliver. So I got to go back and change that. I think I made this rectangle too big. So I want to change this blue to, let's go with, looks like that's, ooh. I need to go back to this, pick out that color right there, edit colors. That's the color I want for that. So I'm going to go to the code. I'm going to make another custom color right up on the top again. Take this, and I'm going to call this the body, which is blue. So I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to call it color.body. And I want to make this 71, 122, and 185. So anytime I see a blue color, I just want to put and make it my body color. There we go. And again, I'm going to compile and run it just to check my errors. You always want to do this because you always want to find the error before you move on. And look at that. Now I just need the face color, which I'm going to go with this color right here. Edit colors. And so again, I'm going to go all the way to the top. Copy these two lines. Now I'm going to look for white. There it is. And I'm going to do, call it skin. And I want to make this 248, 233, and 168. And again, I'm going to copy just this one line, the set color, because I already defined the color. Now I set the color. I only need to use this second line when I want to reset the color. I don't have to redefine it. There's another one. And I'm commenting out that color line. This one I can just comment out the color line because I'm keeping it. And so now when I compile and run it, look at that. Almost there. Now I just got to fix this color. I could move this down a little bit, but I'm not. Yeah, I probably should. I should move it to the right and down so it looks better like a thumb. So I'm going to go down one to the right one. Hopefully that works. Let's do that first. Now realize I only need to change the X and Y. I don't need to change the width and length. So when I go into my code, I need to find the thumb. So I'm going to go Control F thumb, and look at that. Find it instantly. I want to increase this by 1 and increase this by 1. And now when I run it, hopefully it looks more like a thumb. A little bit. I need to move it back to the left a little bit. So left is X. So this is going to be 1.5. So 15 divided by 10. And again, compile, run, compile, run. Always make sure you're doing the right thing. And that's a lot better. I could move it up another half if I really want to, but I'm not that worried about it. I'm going to make that pink into red. Let's do that. Magenta to red. Again, compile, run. Can't say that enough. You always want to make sure the change you make is the change you want. And last but not least, I need to fix this box error. So let's go to our pseudocode so I can remember where this is at. It's at number 10 and 8. So I want to do, I can't do a Control F on 10 because that'll take too long, but there's the belt. What we want to do is we want to make sure this right here, we only want it to be 1.5. So 15 divided by 10. And now when we compile and run it, I'm hoping this will be done. Come on, no whammies, no whammies. Look at that. We got a little Fallout boy. I'm pretty proud of that. Now, last but not least, we need to set this up so that there's multiple images. I'm not going to show you this, but if I wanted to move this image right here, I need to move this to the left and up. So to do that, I'll give you the first one. We need to go up here, all the way up to where we call scale sponge. Now this I'm going to call scaled fallout. And if I change it here, I also have to change it here because this calls the function, this defines the function. I want to make this 10, 10 to go all the way to the top left. And I want to make it so this guy's a little bit taller. So he's going to be 200 wide, 300 long. So now when I compile and run it, we're going to have tall Fallout Boy. So your object is to make another longer one here, a wide one here, a big one, and then a medium-sized one in the middle, which you should be able to do. And that's pretty much it. And the interesting thing about this is when you draw these, when you rescale them, check out what happens. Like right here, see how that little line happens? That's because of a rounding error. Because I lose one little pixel there. That's that black pixel right there. I totally did that on purpose, that I'd see the arm there. I didn't. But that's just pretty cool. If you go back here and make this to, let's go, what, 1200 by 900, compile and run this, I'm going to get one huge Fallout Boy. And this is always good to check your image to see if it works. Wow. Beast mode, right? Look at that. He's so handsome. Anyways, that's how to make a scaled image. Realize this is using the old graphics, but we're going to get into this later, why we did 0, 0 here, and like 100, 0 right about here. Well, actually, about here. But we're going to actually be using that in the hardest unit of the class. That's why we're going to be spending so much time on this scaled picture. Don't worry, you're probably going to run into a whole bunch of issues. Again, ask questions for help instead of just sitting there twiddling your thumbs. Have a great day. See you later.